Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shishi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Girigobardhana Ki Sri Mathura Vrindavan Dhama Ki Sri Mayapur Navadvidhama Ki Purushottam Kshetra Sri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Ganga Maji Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki, their most beautiful Lordship Shishi Kishore Kishori Ki, Paramakaruna, their most merciful Lordship Shishi Gauranitai Ki, their most merciful Lordship. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection to fulfill all desires. He opened my darkened eyes and filled my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth of birth. For Him ecstatic prema emanates. By Him ignorance is destroyed. The very scripture seal of His character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us a share of your lotus feet. Your famous thereof are the three words. We take shelter to the sea. His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janvalabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Janvalabha Giridhari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Nayanam namaskrityam naram chaivam narottamam devam saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye Nashtapaishu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya Hare Krishna. Welcome to the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Be discussing texts 38 and 39 of the 18th chapter of the 9th canto. So please, I'll read 38 and then we'll chant 39 together. Text 38. Iti labda vivashtana putram jeshtam avochata yado tata pati chemam daram dehi nijam bhaya. Translation. When Yayati received this benediction from Sukracharya, he requested his eldest son, "My dear son Yadu, please give me your youth in exchange for my old age and invalidity." Now we'll chant text 39 together. Mata mahakritam vatsa Nachipto vishayeshaham Vayasa pavidadiyena Ramshe katipayasama Mata mahakritam vatsa Nachipto vishayeshaham Vayasa bhavadiyena Ramshe katipayasamaha Mata mahakritam vatsa Nachipto vishayeshvaham Vayasa bhavadiyena Ramse katipayasamaha Mata mahakritam vatsa Chipto vishayeshvaham Vishaya sasariyena. Tamaha kritam vatsa na chipto visheshvaham Vayasa bhavadiyena Ramshe katipaya samaha. Word for word. Mata mahakritam. Given by your maternal grandfather. Shukracharya. Vatsa, my dear son. Na, not. Chiptaha, satisfied. Vishayeshu, in sex life, sense gratification. Aham, I am. Vayasa, by age. Bhavadiyena, of your good self. Ramshe, I shall enjoy sex life. Katipaya, for a few. Samaha, years. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear son, I am not yet satisfied in my sexual desires, but if you are kind to me, you can take the old age given by your maternal grandfather, and I may take your youth, so that I may enjoy life for a few years more. Purport. This is the nature of lusty desires. In Bhagavad Gita 7:20, it is said, Kaimais tais ter hita gyanaha. When one is too attached to sense gratification, he actually loses his sense. The word hrita gyana refers to one who has lost his sense. Here is an example. The father shamelessly asked his son to exchange youth for old age. Of course, the entire world is under such illusion. Therefore, it is said that everyone is pramata, or exclusively mad. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. When one becomes almost like a madman, he indulges in sex and sense gratification. Sex and sense gratification can be controlled, however, and one achieves perfection when he has no desires for sex. This is possible only when one is fully Krishna conscious. Yadavadi mama chaita Krishna padaravinde nava nava rasa damanyudatam rantam asid tadavadi bata nari sangam me smaryamane bhaviti mukha vikara shushta nishta vinam cha. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in Him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl with distaste. Sexual desire can be stopped only when one is fully Krishna conscious, and not otherwise. As long as one desires for sex, one must change his body and transmigrate from one body to another to enjoy sex in different species or forms. But although the forms may differ, the business of sex is the same. Therefore it is said, Puna punas charvitat charvananam. Those who are very much attached to sex transmigrate from one body to another with the same business of chewing the chewed. The tasting sex enjoyment as a dog, sex enjoyment as a hog, sex enjoyment as a demigod, and so on. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Panchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ask for the blessings of the senior Vaishnavas so I can speak something of value on these texts. This is, I'll fill in a little background for those who haven't been here the last couple days. So this is a king speaking. This king was recently cursed in this story to become old. He got cursed to be given old age by his father-in-law, because his primary wife was very upset with him for having a child with another one of his wives, or his wife's maidservants. So this daughter went to her powerful father, who is Shukracharya, who is a powerful spiritual master, and Shukracharya cursed him. His name is King Yayati. Cursed him to become old and give up his youthful body and take on old age. And in this verse, in text 39, the king is asking his son to give him his youth, because he also, with the curse, came the benediction that if he could trade someone, he could give someone his old age that he received as a curse, he could give that to someone and take the youth of that person. So he decided to pursue that benediction with his own son, to try to take the youth of his own son and give him the old age, and then he will get the youth. So he is saying, so he can enjoy life for a few more years. He said that in the translation it says that he has not yet satisfied his sexual desire, so he's approaching his son to attain a youthful body again so he can enjoy sex life. Srila Prabhupada in the purport explains that this is the situation of the material world, that everyone is under the illusion of sex life. And it's said that he's almost like a madman. Everyone is almost like madmen indulging in sex and sense gratification. So this is the situation of materialistic civilization. Everyone is seeking this enjoyment, this sex enjoyment, and to the neglect, or almost to the neglect, or at the cost of other people's well-being. So people are willing to commit all sorts of bad things to get this enjoyment for themselves, willing to give up, like in this case, sacrifice his own son's youth. And this is a cultured person. What to speak of these days, the things that people do just to satisfy their desires. It's very extremely destructive, and we can see that in society. It has become very much like what Prabhupada is saying. Almost everyone is like a madman. Some people are more controlled or civilized, it seems, but they are living a life simply for sense gratification or sex gratification, sex life. So it's very common, adultery and families being split up, and husband and wife fighting, and all these illicit activities are going on in the modern context, and it's very disturbing to a peaceful atmosphere of religious life. So Prabhupada explains that it gives this text of experiencing a higher taste, experiencing the happiness of devotion to Krishna. This says that realizing an ever new pleasure in Krishna by engaging in the service of Krishna. And in this way, this person speaking this verse, it says that he spits at the thought of sex life and his lips curl with distaste. So this is the symptom of a very advanced soul who's advanced in this devotional service. He's experiencing so much transcendental happiness within his relationship with Krishna, meditating on Krishna, the transcendental name and form and pastimes of Krishna, that this idea of sex life just for outside of the purpose of having Krishna conscious children is so abominable. To do that activity just for one's own pleasure of the sense of touch is abominable to such a highly realized Krishna conscious person. So this is the anecdote. The Krishna consciousness is the anecdote to this illusion of sex life. Prabhupada also says in the purport, he explains that as long as you have sex desire, we have to transmigrate to one body after another to experience sex life in different forms, as a dog or as a hog, and sex enjoyment as a demigod. And this is described as chewing the chewed. So it's just going over and over again into this this illusory pleasure that it's like a drop of happiness in the ocean. It's described, the happiness that we can get out of this, and it's like a drop of water when you're dying of thirst, just enough to keep you like barely hanging on, but never actually close to satisfying our happiness. I wanted to speak a little bit about this lust in comparison to love, the love that we experience within our relationship with Krishna on the spiritual platform. So, as we've heard in the purport and what we can see in this world, and in the Bhagavad Gita it says also that this lust or this desire for sex enjoyment is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world, as it says in Bhagavad Gita. So it destroys everything, basically. Everything is disturbed by this lust. All peace and well-being is disturbed by this lust. I want to go into that a little bit. Why is it that way? Basically, the reason why it's destructive is because it's self-centered. That's the main difference between lust and love. Lust is selfish and self-centered. So we're willing to put others into difficulty for our own enjoyment on the sensual platform, and this creates so many disturbances. It's an existence. When you live in an existence of lust, it's an existence of disharmony with everyone else around us, because we're constantly looking to be how can we somehow get that enjoyment for ourselves. So in the material world, generally people are friends with each other when they have mutual desires to enjoy sense gratification or sex life. And so people I have experienced when I was younger, hanging out with a certain type of group of young guys because we have similar desires to enjoy in a certain way. But when those desires are not achieved, then there's a split in the relationship. And when our desires change, then we change friends. And we might never see the person again who we considered a very close friend. So this is different than love. Love is a selfless. It's in the perfection. What we hear is it's a mood of selfless service to the person that we love. So instead of seeing someone as like an object of our pleasure and someone we can get the most out of for our own sensual pleasure, we love someone, we want to genuinely serve them with a selfless intention. And this creates a bond of spiritual affection. And this is ultimately what bhakti is with the Supreme, is this selfless service. So it's completely opposite of material lust, is this experience of love of God. So this, when the spiritual atmosphere, or wherever Krishna is present, or wherever devotion to Krishna is present, it creates this atmosphere of harmony among the souls who are gathering, because we're able to connect with each other completely with Krishna in the center. So Krishna and God is it's our connection with each other. He is our connection. We're all a part of the same Supreme Being. We're all from the same source. We're all parts of Krishna. So when we connect with each other, with Krishna in the center, that creates an atmosphere of complete harmony amongst ourselves. Whereas on the material platform, everyone comes together for individual sensual gratification. This creates only, at the best, some mutual agreement on a way of gratifying our own self. So there's not this complete contentment or complete happiness that comes from this, where I find, at least I'm not sure about you all, but I always am craving this experience of complete happiness and complete unity with everyone. It's like kind of something everyone strives for. Like I remember going to music festivals, and when I just wanted like these like hippie festivals that they promise this idea that we're all together. This is home, and we can all get along. So this is like the ideal, because actually that's what the spiritual world is like. We're all completely interconnected within the existence of our relationship with Krishna, and so out of pure love we're all connected. But I found my experience was that when Krishna is not there, all the attempts fall short of that experience of pure happiness, where there's still so much within these atmospheres that I experienced at these music festivals. Although there was the attempt of harmony, the attempt of unity, there's still so much selfish interest by all the individuals involved that it didn't come to this level of complete harmony. So this is the process of bhakti. The process of yoga is to purify ourselves of the selfish tendencies and the desire for individual, independent, sensual enjoyment. And in this way, we can achieve real harmony with each other and achieve real happiness. So this is the process as described on Sunday by Subal Prabhu. He described the process of sacrifice. So this is the beginning where we act in a way that we're acting as a sacrifice to Krishna. We have to practice it because we're conditioned to act for our own individual enjoyment. We have to make sacrifices and act for the pleasure of Krishna as a practice. We have to practice getting back to that state of harmony with the Supreme in the center. And so this is the practice of sacrifice. We sacrifice our time and our possessions. We sacrifice our very selves for even direct service within the temple, for the devotees, the representatives of Krishna. In this way, we gradually come to this, get purified of this selfishness and come to an existence of selfless service. So my experience is, especially when I'm personally serving my spiritual master, I find that it takes a lot of selflessness, because it's very personal, and there's an individual that's there responding to you, and an elevated individual who is accepting your service. So serving them personally, doing what they ask, and being there for them, you sacrifice your time for this individual. And when this individual is a devotee of Krishna, when you engage in this service, we get purified a lot of our selfish tendency. We're thinking, this person is so great, but still I'm so conditioned that I would rather be just relaxing or taking it easy, doing my own thing, even though this person has given me so much knowledge, has helped me out so much. But the more that we get into that selfless service, the more we get back into that position of harmony, where we're not pursuing our selfish interests. So personal service to the spiritual master is extremely purifying of this selfishness. So this is the sacrifice. We make the sacrifice, and the ultimate sacrifice in the age of Kali is the chanting Harinam Sankirtan. So this is the ultimate way to reawaken our harmony, the harmony between ourselves and between Krishna. So by doing Sankirtan together, we are forced. It seems very easy. We just sit down or come to the temple room and chant together. Seems very easy, but still it's not so easy to do all the time or for very long. And why is it not so easy to do for very long? It's because we have selfish interests, and we're not so in tune with each other all the time. So maybe after a couple hours, or if we do even like maybe 6 hours of kirtan, we'll be like, this is great, but I gotta go do my own thing for some time. But this activity of doing it together, coming together to chant, is what brings us into this, back into the purified state of consciousness. We're kind of like rocks. All our conditioned souls are like jagged rocks. We have anarthas. So when we're doing kirtan together, we're shaking up the rocks, and serving together, doing kirtan together. We'll face some difficulties, some problems, some purification of the rocks. We'll smooth each other out through our experiences, and that's what comes when you serve very closely with devotees. Sometimes it becomes difficult because our nartas may clash, but this is the sacrifice that we have to endure. We make that sacrifice of serving with devotees and with Krishna in the center, so we can go from the platform of lust to the platform of pure love. And this is, like I'm saying again, this is harmony. So I like this word harmony a lot, where everything is, I see harmony as like where everything is going very smoothly. Everyone is very happy together, living together. Another strong word I find in this relation is cooperation. So there's a devotee in Michigan who started a nice program called Harmony Collective, and their motto or their slogan is learning love through cooperation. So learning love through cooperation. So if we have to learn to cooperate with devotees, cooperate, operate together, exist together, just do service together, become friends, and serve Krishna together. And we have to learn how to love each other and to love Krishna. And this is very purifying, because we're so used to just ignoring and pursuing our individual interests for lifetimes. Like in bringing it back to the verse of King Yayati, we're so used to anytime anything goes wrong, we're willing to sacrifice other people's well-being for our own sense gratification. He's willing to take his son's youth because he's maddened, as the purport says, maddened by the desire to enjoy. So this is, we have to become purified of this. One story also to explain this I was reading recently is that when the fight between King Indra and Vritrasura, King Indra offends his spiritual master Brihaspati by not honoring him. He's deluded by the pride and the enjoyment of his position as the king of heaven, and his spiritual master comes in and he neglects to pay respects to his spiritual master. So his spiritual master, I forgot, I'm not sure if he cursed him or if he just took away his blessings or something. He became weakened, and then the demons attacked, and they were overtaken by the demons. So then all the demigods approached Lord Vishnu and asked him to help them because they're overtaken by the demons. And Lord Vishnu told them, you have to go to this sage, Dadichi. Go to this sage, Dadichi, and he'll give you his body. So this sage was very powerful. He had a lot of spiritual potency. And so the demigods approached him and asked them, said, Lord Vishnu told us for you to give us your body, which is full of spiritual power, and we'll make a weapon out of this, your body, and then we'll be able to kill this demon, Vritrasura, who's disturbing the atmosphere. So Dadachi, at first he said, why? He refused at first. He said, why should I give you my body? Everyone is very attached to their body. It's very dear. But he was just testing the demons, or the demigods, so they would speak religious principles. And then after the demigods spoke, he gave up his body by situating himself internally in trance at the lotus feet of the Lord, and just gave up his body. So he knew that it was Lord Vishnu's plan, and he was very advanced spiritually, so he just willingly in trance, gave up his body so the demigods could use his body in the service of the Lord for the well-being of the universe. So in Prabhupada's purport, he explains that he gives a nice fired-up purport saying, this is what everyone should do. We need many capable men to sacrifice their lives for the upliftment of the universe, to reestablish the religious principles in the material universe. We need people to give their lives completely, surrender to this movement, and spread Krishna consciousness and reestablish religious principles to counteract the darkness and the fallen age of Kali. So if we do this, if we take up Srila Prabhupada's mission and we sacrifice everything that we have, our body, our mind, our intelligence, our possessions, everything, we will become purified. We'll become purified and we'll be allowed entrance into the spiritual reality where everything is full of bliss. We'll be purified, and other people will come also back to Godhead with us if we take up this mission very, very seriously. I was going to say one more thing. I can't remember. Yeah, I guess that's it. I was going to say something, but I lost track of the thought. I'm open for questions or comments if anyone would like to share anything. Jai Baldev is always good for a question.
Hopefully I'll try to formulate a question, but one thing that you brought to mind, my comment and hopefully a question, is you mentioned the word harmony and cooperation. You say you like this word harmony. In the sastras, we usually we hear like Hiranyakashipu's ideal of harmony was Prahlad to do exactly what he wanted to, and so with the Muslim Qazis. So there's a quote that says, I appreciated it. It says, "You can't get harmony when everyone plays the same note." And this explains unity in that diversity. If everyone's like robots, it's not going to be harmonious. It's just going to be robots, impersonal robots. And so you also mentioned regarding this point, cooperation. Every time I think of cooperation, I always think of the story where Bhakti Tirtha Swami kind of first came to Krishna consciousness, where he essentially went to Prabhupada and says, "Prabhupada, I thought your philosophy is devotees should cooperate with each other. Well, some devotees seem a little, prejudiced against me because of my eye colors." And Prabhupada essentially said, in essence, not in the exact words, that we may not always be able to get people to cooperate on the outside, but we can always cooperate with our spiritual nature on the inside. And so the reason I appreciate that is because no one's bad character should cause disharmony within your own character. So how does one deal with that dilemma of cultivating, what I want to say? I mentioned a quote recently. How does one imbibe this very beautiful quote that I heard? It says, if we agree in love, then there's no disagreement that can do us harm. But if we don't, then no agreement can do us any good. Just like when the spiritual master comes, sometimes people agree in love externally, but internally they don't even like each other. So what is the use of your agreement if a spiritual master comes and people don't like each other? So maybe you could comment on some of these. It wasn't really a question, with some points. I appreciate it. So.
My thoughts are that it's just a matter of purification. It's a matter of purification of our anarthas to be able to cooperate and live in harmony with each other. So it's very difficult when we're all conditioned to cooperate with each other. Man, I'm like trying to find what I was trying to say, because it goes well with this. Yeah, it all goes together. I can't think of it. Hold on a second. Check my notes. I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, it's not a matter of making everyone all the same, like you're saying, the same note. But we'll all be individuals, but when we practice Krishna consciousness together, then it's very nice to be different from each other, and that creates a lot of variety and opportunities for loving exchanges. I like the point that you made, the unity in diversity, that we don't all have to be the exact same to get along. But yeah, there's this underlying need of sacrificing. Oh yeah, this is the point. It requires us to cooperate. It requires us to compromise a little bit on our own plans. We have to learn how to work together and be patient with one another. And even if we may disagree, this is the difficulty of working on a project with other individuals. We have to be extremely patient and tolerant. So this is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be humble as a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. So if we all could do that, if we all could do that and live with each other in that way, we're all humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. We have no sense of false prestige, and we just chant all the time. That's it. That's it. That's the answer. Yeah, we just have to develop these qualities and keep doing it together. Oh yeah, and also this is the point too, that the book Vaishnava K, Vaishnava K, Bhaktisiddhanta describes, I'm not super familiar with the text, but it rang a bell that it's like speaking of like going away from the association of devotees, saying what kind of Vaishnava are you? You like to chant in a secluded place. So he's like guarding against this tendency to avoid the association of devotees and try to do it on our own, where the real purification takes place when you have to associate with the devotees. So you can avoid associating with devotees and go chanting on your own. But Bhaktisiddhanta says that it's not good. The mind causes lots of problems when you do that. And when you take the support of the Vaishnavas, it's more difficult, it seems. You have to sacrifice. You can't maybe do everything that you would like to do as an individual when you surrender to the movement and serve within the community of devotees. But the benefits of the support and the purification of the association of devotees is absolutely necessary. So it's much better to stay in the association of devotees and take this purification and learn to live harmoniously, learn to live in cooperation with devotees, rather than going away from devotees, trying to do endeavors separately to approach Krishna. We have to learn how to like each other. We have to learn how to have these loving exchanges, like Rupa Goswami explains in the Nectar of Instruction, how to practice giving gifts to each other, revealing our minds to each other, giving prasadam to each other, basically the essence, hearing and chanting together, basically the essence of loving exchanges, learning how to do it together. It's difficult because we're conditioned. It's so simple, but it's difficult because of our conditioning to want to have loving exchanges with each other. Yeah, that's some thoughts. Any other? Do you have a question? No? Okay. Alex, do you have any thoughts? It's okay. No? Okay. Thank you all for listening to me kindly. And I'm very grateful. Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.